All right.
So right now, you guys are a big show on USA Network. Let's have a picture and pressure on. How's the environment around you guys?
It's kind of fun being we're the longest running scripted show on the network, and we never thought we would get there.
Well, you always thought.
Well, no, I said from the day I pitched it to Kelly, I'm like, this show's going to run 7 years. But that was just false arrogance. I was actually just joking.
It's how he approaches everything. Positive, positive, positive. This is the best script. This will be the most fun. This will be, and it just carries through, and it's worked.
People say, I hope it doesn't rain today when we shoot. I say, there's no way it rains today. I dare it to rain. Come on, rain. It's called tempting fate. It's a thing that Tim Beltringer and I worked up, and it works pretty well so far.
Absolutely.
But it's nice being around this long, and it's nice being in a position where you're not like proving what the show is. We don't hardly get any network notes, and we hardly get any interference. And when we have crazy ideas like, hey, I want to do a Kung Fu episode, nobody blinked, and I'm actually like, hey, by the way, I'm gonna have like guys kicking each other, flying through the air, and okay, I'm not gonna ask any more questions.
And public here, we paved the way for this kind of drama to get back on the air, so we're very
grateful. Exactly. We got a very safe place behind Monk, and we forged our own identity and our own crowd. Yes, exactly.
You've got 2 themes now, like even a Bollywood one.
Yes.
What else is next, and what kind of went behind the process of coming up with picking those different cultures to appeal to, I guess?
There's a huge board in the writer's office, and every year we just add stuff to it, and some of the ideas are not good.
Yeah. Talk a little louder.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hold on. Corbin always. What are you talking about? Oh, we're talking about episodes. Yeah, it's like I have my dream episodes, and like this year, next episode is UFOs, and for 3 years. It's been UFO, and it gets a little closer to the top, and it's like when we're stumped. It's like UFO, it said Karate Kid / Chinatown. That's all we know. We have baseball on there. We haven't gotten to baseball, but we did football instead because we had a tie-in with the Super Bowl the year NBC had the Super Bowl. We have I have an episode called Shakespeare in the Parking Lot, which I want to do, and we've actually referenced the company that does Shakespeare, not Shakespeare in the Park. They do it in the parking lot. They're not quite good. And that's one that makes its way. But we've done Fast and Furious coming up. We have you.
You guys already had a car episode too, right?
Yeah.
We have another week.
Is the car
this is like full on. This is full on Fast and Furious.
This is street racing.
Yeah, and the most expensive episode we've ever done. So the network's like, really? This is the budget for this? Okay. We've got Twin Peaks we're actually writing our Twin Peaks episode. We got a great Christmas episode that James is directing. Sort of It's a Wonderful Life type thing that's really fun. And the big theme episode that's sort of...
we do sort of a Lethal Weapon kind of episode coming up with 2 older cops that are retired.
Yeah, that's Viagra Falls.
Viagra Falls.
And we have sort of another sort of spy episode, a little bit like the John Cena episode, except this is really kind of more of a foreign thing, the one with Frank Potente who's going to come and be a guest in that one. So that's it for this season. Like big and fun and action, and then Fast and Furious and UFOs and all this stuff. And the board continues to grow every year, and we continue to go to Space Camp. Are we really going to do that one? I don't know how to...
Yes, we're going to do Space Camp. Yes, we are.
We just don't know how it works, but we'll do Space Camp at some point.
Yeah.
Season 7.
Who did you say was in Viagra Falls? I heard Carl Weathers, but I didn't catch the other name.
William Devane. And
okay. All right.
And William Devane I've been pitching since the first season, just because of his appearance in The Bad News Bears and Breaking Training.
Right.
It's a very important movie for me as a very young child.
Now, how long did it take you from the time you came up with the concept of the show to actually get USA Network to buy into it? I mean, did you have it going for a couple of months, a few weeks? I mean, we see it now, and it seems like
We're talking about the concept of the show. I would say it was about, 10 years? Something like that.
Yeah, before we pitched it.
It was it was a one-liner kind of idea that Steven had like 10 years ago. It was a movie.
It's going to be they wanted to make an Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore movie, and I had this idea about this guy who gets out of trouble by pretending to be psychic, and he's got these skills, and he's got this dad. And
So you had the whole vision for the wordiness and the ridiculousness of speech, and that was from the day.
no, it didn't develop. I had this idea, and it was part of my. After Big Daddy, I had a blind script deal with Columbia. We went and pitched it, and they went, no, and so I just put it away. And then Kelly came on board, and she's all, "What do you got?" I had 5 ideas. It was the last one.
It was, yeah.
Because I always thought, a psychic detective, that's a great way, it's an interesting way into a detective show. Never seen it before. And so I said, hey, that would be fun. I've never done a 1 hour, never written a 1 hour script, never seen a 1 hour script, had no idea even what the format was. And I told Kelly the other Friday, I said, oh, that's good. And I told her the last one, and she's like, oh my God. That's it.
I can
That
sell
was kind of
that.
around Dead Zone was kind of taking the leading theirs.
It was Dead Zone and 4400, and they were both, sort of winding down. And
We snuck in because Jeff Hotel wasn't there, Jackie DeCredice wasn't there. These are the people that were running the network at the time. Because Bill Mahoney was running it. And they loved it and then had to pitch their bosses. But unless you're in a room with Steve Franks, who's just like the greatest pitcher on the face of the world, if someone goes to you like, psychic detective is not really psychic, they're going to go, what? And so they had to pitch their hearts out, and it took them about 2 weeks to buy it. Once we did it, it was the easiest process. I mean, having worked in television forever, I've ever been through. They wrote the script, they picked it up. They picked it up, they loved it, they did the series. It was just a pleasure.
I've been looking for a long time for something to be a companion to Monk, and had kind of, I wouldn't say failed, but they just never found anything that was perfect. And so this is one of those ones I think it was a script that was probably, I think, better than anything that they had gotten in the development process and trying to find a companion piece. And they were smart enough and kind enough.
I had to write a 60-minute version, a 90-minute version, and a 2-hour version for international. So first of all, I had to have them send me over a 1-hour drama script so I could know the format. And I have like 3 different versions of italicized scenes. It was the most confusing thing ever.
In regards to like Monk comment, Monk had literally no references to pop culture or anything. And you guys are just the absolute opposite. Like, I mean, you guys want to stay in tune with exactly what's happening now. So where do you see the show looking back at it in the future? Like, do you think, what's your thought on it?
You know what? It just became part of who we are. We couldn't do a show without referencing it. It's part of our language. And when I met James, that was our common ground. And my references should be different than James's, but his references are a little older, which I'm a few years older than James, and so I'm like, oh my God, here's this guy in his 20s, and I'm here in my 30s. It's like we have exactly the same language, so it's really fun, and it's just part of who the character is. Yeah, and it was just it was first part of just getting to know each other, and then that we try to write all the scripts to sound like we're talking right now. So.
Do you think that the fact that your seasons usually only go about 17 episodes,
16,
15,
yeah.
14, do you think that has a lot to do with the longevity of the show, other than it being good and enjoyable? I mean, you're able to not get burned out on your stuff, right?
I never want to do 22, and it drives the people to run my business and produce the show.
We would all love 22. Don't get me wrong. We'd watch them
It just seems like 16. It's like it still takes us. We're still doing it almost the entire year. The actors are only on for about 6 months.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like I think if we did 16, we would start repeating ourselves and 22, 16. No, we would start repeating ourselves at 16 too. If we did 22, oh my God, I wouldn't be standing here right now. I'm not standing.
But I also think it keeps the creativity alive. I absolutely believe that 16 is like the perfect number.
And even with opening up the writer's room and having proper prep and getting those scripts before you go to production, having enough of them to feel good about keeping the flow going, and then post-production, we're still there February we'll open the writers' room, and we shut it all down just before Christmas in terms of finishing our post and our mixes and all that good
We did
stuff.
our last mix last year on January 4th.
Yeah.
So
it was, I don't even know when we did 22. They would just be jammed together.
Yeah, how do you do?
It's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
13 hours a day seems like a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're in the writers' room. We don't do 13 hours. So, but James and Dulé, they work harder than anybody I've ever seen.
Very cool.
Thank you very much, guys.